Precision Racing League's American PS4 F1 Championship Series Season Number 10 Drivers Roster. Mercedes AMG Petronas Motorsports, Mixendit, and Renga. Scuderia Ferrari, Forza Alonso, and Aerostrike. McLaren F1 Team, Odoms, and McLaren. Williams Martini Racing, Nick Dahi, and Woody. Sahara Force India, Aaron Webb, and Packnam. Aston Martin Red Bull Racing, J-Rod, and Dano. Renault Sports F1 Team, K-Dog, and Psycho. Haas F1 Team, Brian Mosser, and Bubba. Scuderia Toro Rosso, Chapa, and KWP. Sauber, Caesar, and Gordau. And that is your full-time driver roster for season number 10 of the PRL's American PS4 F1 Championship Series. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Precision Racing League's American PS4 F1 Championship Series. I'm your host this evening, Hootius. Out there in Twitch land, you know me as Old Man Hoot. And tonight, season number 10, round number 18, has us in Mexico for the Mexican Grand Prix, the home track of one Mr. Gordau, who's filling in tonight, jumping in the Sauber. So, while the drivers, they've already got about 4 minutes qualifying under the belt, still 8 minutes to go, let's go ahead and take a few minutes, let's jump into the broadcast booth, and show you what it's like to take a lap around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Tonight, the Mexican Grand Prix will be hosted in the country's capital, Mexico City, the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. This track has held 21 Grand Prix over the past 48 years over 3 different stints. The layout covers 2.674 miles, 17 turns, and one incredibly fast straightaway. While there's only 6.5 feet of elevation on the track itself is 7,500 feet in the air, so the thin air in the mountains are going to cause havoc on both the drivers and the cars. You're going to start your lap by exiting the baseball stadium and bypassing the entrance to pit road. Now, the front stretch is super long and a DRS zone. However, the start-finish line is really close to the final corner. So if you want to make a heroic last lap pass for the win, you're going to have to make it stick and stick hard. Now, this front stretch, the car can easily do 200 miles an hour by itself. So when you add in slipstream and DRS, we're going to see speeds approaching 220 before you're hard on the brakes for the right-hander of turn 1. You're going to go left-right for turns 2 and 3. If you hit the entrance of turn 2 just right, you can floor it through turn 3, which will take you on our second DRS straight. It's only about half as long as the front straight, but we'll still see speeds of 190 miles an hour while you're hard on the brakes for turn 4. Turn 5 is a quick right-hander, which will set you up for 6 and 7. Double apex right-handers, which can present an overtake opportunity. This is going to take you down a short chute, and now begins the very technical part of the Mexican Grand Prix, the first S section. Drivers are going to be hard on the curbings, trying to go as close to flat out as possible. Now, the second S, you're carrying a lot more speed, and it's going to be really easy for the back end of the car to whip out. So we're going to see which drivers have the gall to take it as fast as possible. After a bit of a straightaway, you're hard on the brakes, and you're re-entering the baseball stadium. You have a very slow left-hander, and you're going to crank it to the right, keeping as much speed as possible. Now, you do have to brake for this final turn, but you want to carry as much momentum as possible as you're racing back to the start-finish line. And that is a lap around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And we're back with actually just past the halfway mark of qualifying. As you saw with the track tour, this racetrack is super fast. We're talking, well over 200 miles an hour in one section, almost 200 in another. A minute 15-second laps. They are going to crank out the laps tonight. And for better or worse for these drivers, though, the layout of this track, it's not overly technical outside of the double S's. It's going to present some great passing opportunities tonight. This track really never fails to bring the action. Last time we were here, though, it was this man, your champion, McSendit, who pulled off the hat trick, won the pole, won the race, took the fastest lap of the race. And he was joined by... where's he at? Aerostrike in 10th. Who's currently sitting P10 in qualifying. He actually finished the race second, with Nick Dahi rounding out the podium. Now, Nick is currently looking good right now, sitting P2 behind the three-time champion. Mystic Joker. We've known him all this season as Forza Alonso. He's currently sitting P1 with McSendit right behind him, though. There is just 0.12 seconds between the two champions right now. Now, Joker, or Forza. I'm probably going to go ahead and just call him Forza throughout this broadcast, so stick with us. In Season 11, we'll call him by that name. As he's got, I believe that's Odom's trying to steal some slipstream down the front stretch. Odom's going for every 10th of a second that he can get right now. And we got Dahi currently sitting P3. Teammate Woody's P4. A huge shout out right now. Awful. As we've known him all season, Psycho Sui, the Renault driver, currently sitting P5. Fantastic lap by him. Shout out to Renga, also P6. Brian Mosser, currently in 7th. He's got his Haas out there. He's going to try to best that. Remember last week at COTA, we saw Brian with a personal best 4th qualifying position. Just absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, the race didn't go quite as he wanted. He still scored points, dropped a few positions on the grid, but I know he would love to try to back up that qualifying performance and this time make the race stick and come home with a great finish. Alright, the other Renault driver, K-Dog, currently in 8th. Got Chappa in 9th. Now everybody's already made the first run. The guys in the pits are getting fresh tires. They're getting out there, and then we have about half the field as well out there trying to get another lap. We see Gordau. I mentioned before, this is his home Grand Prix. The Mexican driver for the PRL. Jumping in at Sauber. He's going to be back to a full-time drive in Season 11. School got in the way for him. Couldn't be a full-time driver in Season 10, but he's jumping in. He's getting the track time, and he's going to be back and ready to go next season. Now, our runner-up last time here, Aerostrike. The Ferrari is sitting P11. He does not have the confidence in the dry. He was actually hoping for a wet race. Before this, he actually set a top 25 world time in the time trials. So he feels very confident in the wet, not so much in the dry, but Aero's a very skilled driver. We know he'll get that Ferrari up there before it's over. Speaking of skilled drivers, the return of Mebe. It's been quite a while since we've seen him on this leaderboard. He's back. He's getting ready. Likewise, Mebe is coming back for Season 11. So, he's getting a couple races under his belts. He actually jumped on the Super Softs, and he is currently sitting P3 right now. So, Mebe looking to try to utilize that tire strategy early and sitting pretty right now as he jumped both Williams and sits behind McSendit. And there we go. Your pole sitter just went even quicker. Forza. Now he built up a 0.4 of a second gap to McSendit. McSendit just left pit road. He still has, we're talking minute 15 lap times. So with a minute and 20-ish up on the board, he's got plenty of time to come around and he'll be able to start a fresh hot lap. Nick Dahi as well. We've got Woody's out there on a hot lap right now. We've got Psycho. Matter of fact, Psycho is coming to the line. And you know what? Psycho bailed. He bailed. He was not liking how that lap turned out. So, he went ahead and turned the power off on that Renault. He's going to keep his first lap and start the race on those first set of tires. And And we see McSendit. He's out there. Now, McSendit's got to be careful. He still should have plenty of time to get back around to start his hot lap. But as you saw there, he's diving out of the way. He's got guys behind him on their hot laps. The champion showing great sportsmanship. Doesn't want to interfere with anybody. But he's got a little bit of a race with the clock now. Now I think about Forza is still... Did Forza do a second lap? Oh no, he was actually just... Forza was just quick bringing that car down to pit road. Alright, here we go. 7 seconds as McSendit comes off the final turn. 3, 2... Alright, he started it. That was very, very close for McSendit. What worked out in his favor, as we discussed in the track tour, was that the start-finish line is so close to the exit of the final turn. So McSendit was able to cross the line with just a couple seconds left to go, and he's able to start a hot lap, trying to take the pole. Now, remember, we've got Odoms out there in the Super Softs as well. Odoms and McSendit have taken every pole so far this season. So Forza is trying to disrupt that and be just the third pole winner here on season number 10. Odoms is yet to complete a lap, so all the pressure is on him right now. That McLaren's flying. You see him heavily attacking the curbs. He's trying to do what Mebe did, utilizing these Super Softs. As he goes through the baseball stadium. Off the final turn. Where's Odoms going to place? He jumps up to P1! Now the pressure's on the champion as he comes out of the final turn. Whoa, no! McSendit with a huge tail slide! That's more likely going to cost... No, he still did it! Absolutely nuts. McSendit with that car completely sideways coming out of the final turn was able to clip Odoms by under a tenth of a second. Absolutely nuts. That's going to bump Forza down to third after he was sitting P1 the entire qualifying session up until overtime. J-Rod has posted a great lap in his Red Bull. He jumps up to P6. Dahi has fallen down to 7th. Arrow jumps up to 8th. We got Psycho and K-Dog, the two Renaults, are 9th and 10th right now. Brian Mosser, not the qualifying effort he wanted. However, he fell down to 11th, which means he will be the first car on fresh tires. So that will work out for the Haas. As I'm looking through all the grayed out names and checkerboards next to other names, that's going to be it for qualifying. We just need the countdown to happen. Actually, we're going to see an AI car destroy itself. There it goes. Never fails. AI McSendit just murdered himself on AI Odoms. The Mercedes AI cars just do not know what a brake is. It's fantastic. As a matter of fact, too, this AI Red Bull of J-Rod is out there flying, but I don't think anybody is around him. He might catch K-Dog. Nope, there he goes. The game is going to put a mercy kill out there and not allow any more destruction. Alright, so for the official leaderboard, again, McSendit taking the pole over Odoms in the final moments. Forza's going to start third. Mebe fourth in his return. Woody's fifth. J-Rod, Dahi, Arrow, Psycho, and K-Dog round out your top 10. Then Brian, Chapa, Ranga, KWP, Gordow, and Artanis. Those 6 drivers are going to be able to start on fresh tires. Try to utilize that tire strategy. I wouldn't be surprised to see them starting on the softs, cranking out as many laps as possible, then jumping on those ultras at the end of the race and cranking out those fast laps. Alright, we got passed by the copyright screen of death there. Doge, what's going on, buddy? Alright, now we got a few moments. The drivers are making their final tweaks, trying to get their pit strategy down, get the fuel strategy down. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. We're going to pop up the Drivers' Championship, so we know it's already over. McSendit won. Now, with this poll tonight, remember there's a competition between McSendit and Odoms. McSendit takes the lead on polls 9-8. Now, the battle for second is incredibly tight. Only 4 points separate Arrow and Dahi. Only 12 points back of them is Odoms. And then actually for top 5, we have Forza within a win. Same thing, Woody's is within a win of Forza. So there's still some points to be determined. Now, as for the manufacturers, it's looking better and better for Mercedes. 3 races to go, 52 points over Ferrari. So we're going to have to see how it all plays out tonight. Yes, 173 points. But if you go over to the win column and you notice he has 11, that's how you build a 173 point lead there, Doge. The champ is just lights out in this game. It'd be really interesting to see in a couple weeks' time if he keeps form. All right, what we do every week, we're jumping into 5th place. We're hopping on boards the Williams of Woody's as he takes us down the front stretch. The lights are out. Maybe with a little bit of tire spin. Odom's trying to pinch off Forza, but he gets a good run. They're side by side for 2nd place as the pole sitter McSendit has a great run. McSendit AI'd out there for a brief moment. Not sure what that was. Odom's with a hard break in. We saw Mebe get to the back of Forza. Not sure if Mebe has wing damage. Woody's backs it down, sneaks in behind Mebe. Mebe with some big time tire spin on the curb, so it keeps it steady. Odom's finally able to overtake Forza there for a second. Looking up front as they're coming towards the double apex. We need to go ahead and get some details out. And we have issues in the back, and it's Mebe. Mebe has spun. And he actually, this may have been a lag issue with Mebe, as that car is bouncing around crazy right now. And he's got a ton of grass on those tires. So a lot of the field jumps up positions. Looks like the only other person with issues was Brian Mosser. He dropped a couple spots. He's on those softs. Everybody, or it looks like there's Chapa is on softs as well, and then he's got guys on faster tires behind him. We've got to go up front. Forza's starting to attack Odoms. McSendit's trying to utilize this. He has DRS covered. So this is exactly what McSendit wants to see. The battle for second is heating up. Even without DRS, this is super long front stretch, as we saw on the track tour. That slipstream is going to mean a lot. As we look at Forza, 201 miles an hour, 202. Odoms with the preferred line going into turn 1. Can Forza with a strong run on the outside, but Odoms again. And Odoms with an early 3-second time penalty. That was quick. We were mentioning it pre-race in chat that time penalties would come into play, and we already seen it on lap number 2. 2nd place is 3 seconds in the hole right now. Let's go through the field real quick as we have got a gaggle going on. So J-Rod has gotten around Dahi. J-Rod is in the 5th spot. And then we've got a train behind him. You see Dahi, you see Aerostrike, you see the Renaults. And even Ranga, the 2nd Mercedes car, is back there. Tight battle going on in the top 10 right now as they head through the 2nd S. All these guys easily within DRS of one another when it becomes activated here on lap 3. Now, the front stretch will not be activated, but that medium stretch after turn 3 will be. So we'll see who can set up a passing opportunity going into turn 4. McSendit again, lengthening that lead as he has the fastest 2nd lap as well. He's got almost 2 seconds on Odoms. Forza is well within DRS. We'll see how Forza tries to set himself up. You see the snaking going on in the background. We talked about this front stretch and that slipstream. It is so powerful. The guys are trying to take away advantages from the guys behind them. We're going to hop on board with the Ferrari. Oh, we have a Sector 1 yellow. That's looking like Gordau, and it is. The Sauber is whipped around in turns 2 and 3. Unfortunate for the Mexican driver, who wanted to have a good run on his home Grand Prix. But looks like to be no damage. The wing's intact, so he's going to keep the car going. And unfortunate for Brian Mosser, who had to make an early pit stop for a wing. We saw he started on the soft tires. He's already on the supers. So unfortunate for Brian. That's got to throw the tire strategy out the window. At this point, he is just going to have to crank out laps. Odom's now starting to tightening that gap a little bit. It was 1.7 seconds earlier. Now it's 1.3. Forza staying within a second, though, of Odom's. Here we go, down the front stretch. This time, Odom's with the fastest lap of the race, but I think he just missed on DRS. He did. Forza, though, has the DRS. Last time we saw 202 miles an hour out of Forza. This time, almost 210. That's what that DRS on the front straight will do. You see how quickly he closed up on the back of Odom's. And then Odom's, even without DRS, how quickly he caught up to the back of McSendit just using slipstream. Our 3 drivers appear to be a bit of a connection issue there with Dahi. car did something a little wonky there, but our top 3 drivers are starting to group up to battle for 4th now, as J-Rod has got that Red Bull past both Williams drivers. Aerostrike, the second Ferrari, right behind him. We got a 3-car battle up front, and now a 4-car battle right behind him. And then behind that battle, we've got the 2 Renaults and then the Mercedes of Renga. So we got them all grouped up, and Chapa there trying to take a peek. K-Dog goes really wide, lets his teammate by, does not do anything drastic there, gets the momentum back, so he loses 1 position. And now Mebe is working his way up, so this battle here in the back of the pack, we've got a Sector 2 yellow. Is that going to be Artanis? There's our first DNF. We talked about that second S and how fast it goes and how easily it is to have the rear end of the car kick out. That McLaren just proved it. So unfortunately, Artanis is the first DNF of the evening. Got to take the camera up front, though. Throw a blanket over the top 3. Look how close they are. Forza with the DRS, however, Odoms has the DRS as well, so Forza is not going to be able to capitalize there on that second DRS straight. And watching the scoreboard change back and forth, Mebe trying to pass those guys. We're seeing those arrows swap as well. Again, Dahi and J-Rod are duking it out. We just have way too many battles than we have cameras going on right now. We'll take a moment. Let's go back. We see Dahi all over the back. Whoa! Evasive maneuver there from Dahi to make sure he didn't get into J-Rod. He's got a great run. He's trying to cross over J-Rod as they enter the baseball stadium now. J-Rod's going to have the preferred line. Dahi's looking to carry the momentum. J-Rod's going to secure the spot for right now, but because of the battling as well, Aerostrike has been able to overtake Woody's. We'll go back. K-Dog has gotten around his teammate Psycho. We've got to look at Mebe. Mebe is falling back. You know what? Mebe, that's what I was wondering. Mebe is missing his wing. He's going to come in pit now. That Sauber needs a new front wing. Unfortunately for Mebe, trying to recover from an early spin, and he gets damaged trying to overtake, fighting his way back into the top 10. Back up front, this time it looks like Dahi's going to do it, but J-Rod's going to try to fight back. Dahi, though, because of the timing zone, he has DRS. He's going to hold position going into turn 4. Whoa! Arrow out of nowhere! Tire banging, but no damage on any car. Absolutely dangerous moment there, but he makes it stick. Dahi holds 4th. Arrow gets 5th. J-Rod back to 6th. Woody's right behind these 3. Woody's starting to fall back a little bit. And you know what? Take a look on the left half of the wing. Woody's has wing damage. He's missing a chunk. So he must have gotten in the back of one of the cars. So that's why Woody's dropped a few spots, but still holding tight, able to use the draft and keep up with this battle for 4th that we've been watching. And we've missed it watching all these other battles. McSendit has lost the lead. Odoms has gotten by. So we have a change up front. McSendit led the first 6 laps. Now it's Odom's turn. Forza sticking right behind him. The top 3 still within a second of one another. Then we go 8.5 seconds back. And now this time it's Forza with a 3-second penalty. Remember, Odom's got one on lap 2. Now Forza. So McSendit is sitting pretty right now. He's got to cover these deltas. Mebe is going to be our second DNF of the evening. Unfortunately, he has pulled that Sauber off to the side of the road, and that's going to be it for his return back. Renga with a 3-second penalty. Tires are starting to wear out a little bit. Cars are sliding a little bit more. Guys are getting more aggressive as we still have the pack racing going on. And the penalties are starting to fly. Let's jump it back to the battle for 10th place. Now, hats off to Chapa, who's having a great start to this race. He's +3 right now. He's moved up to 9th place on the soft tires. He's gotten around Psycho. Renga now trying to attack the Renault as well. On board the second Mercedes of Renga. You hear the heavy lifting as these tires are starting to wear off. Earlier in the run, those guys can almost take that flat out. Not now. Not that these tires are starting to degrade. Honda, thank you so much for the host, brother. Very much appreciated. Alright, Field's starting to spread out just a little bit, and Woody's is in. He could not take that broken wing any longer. All right, the ultras are off. The softs are on. I know they're showing super softs right now. There we go. Now we got the correct color. So Woody's going with the two-stop strategy. He's going to get the softs, try to go what I would assume would be around 20 laps or so, and then I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the race we see that Williams back in pit road, throwing on the purples, and flying with that car on low fuel. McSendit starting to fall back a little bit of Odoms, but still within DRS. Forza still within DRS of McSendit. These guys were absolutely on top of each other for the first 6 laps. Now they're starting to spread out a little bit. McSendit he's got to get a great run through the baseball stadium if he wants to stay on the tail of Odoms. No, you can hear the tire spin right there. That may have cost McSendit a chance at DRS. Whoa! Huge catch by the champion there. We saw that kind of move in qualifying as well. But that cost him so many tenths. You see it's now 2nd and a half. Forza's closing in. Forza with DRS, a full head of slipstream, 210 miles an hour that time. J-Rod gave up 5th place to come pit and unfortunately got busted speeding, so that'll be a 5-second penalty for the Red Bull driver. He'll serve that on his next pit stop. Let's go ahead now. Let's look at these tire selections and our pits. So 11th, 13th, 14th, I've all pitted. See J-Rod's on the super softs. He's definitely going a two-stop strategy. He'll be back on the ultras if he can, unless he has to take a second pair of super softs by the end of this race. Let's jump up front as Forza starting to catch McSendit. McSendit having some issues on those worn ultras right now. Odoms has opened up a 2.5-second lead. We've got a Sector 2 yellow that appears to be... Actually, Gordow's made it up to 10th, but he is missing half a wing, so... Unfortunately, I believe that may have been yellow, as we got a battle behind him as J-Rod is trying to race his way up through the field. He's wheel-to-wheel with KWP. The Red Bull and the Toro Rosso going at it. J-Rod's got to be careful. We saw him give KWP a little bit of a bump there. He does not want to lose wing, as both drivers catch Gordow in a hurry. KWP to look to the right side. J-Rod to the outside. KWP overshot it. KWP hard into the wall. Broke his wing as well. So tough luck for 11th and 12th place right now. I wouldn't be surprised if both drivers jump onto pit road right here. And here they both come. All right, while we're watching all that, McSendit pit. There we go. Your pole sitter has gotten off those ultras. We saw how bad the rear end was kicking out of that car. He's got the super softs. He's got a huge run on K-Dog. K-Dog doing the sportsman thing, not fighting back right now. He knows it's a different race. He doesn't want to get into a battle and allow Chapa to try to sneak in. K-Dog and Chapa are for position. Honda, you're seeing him right now in 6th place. He qualified top 10. He's gained a couple spots for some pit cycles, but K-Dog's looking good right now. Now, because of all this jockeying for position and different pit strategies as your leader is in, Odom's taken his super softs only 10 laps. He comes in on lap 11. He throws on the ultras. Now, we saw McSendit was in a little bit of traffic when he left. How is this going to work out in his favor? Odoms is already out of pit road. He is going, but McSendit's coming with a full head of steam. Going into turn 1, Odoms is actually going to have him cleared pretty nicely there, though McSendit did gain over a second from pitting 1 lap earlier. We see Psycho has taken his Renault into the pits. Up top, the 2 Ferraris of Forza and Arrow, 1st and 3rd. They have still yet to pit. Dahi, sitting in 2nd, is yet to pit. We're going to keep an eye on our leader. He has taken those ultras farther than anybody has so far. As Odoms gives himself another 3-second penalty. That's something to keep an eye on. That's now 6 seconds for Odoms. Forza has 3 seconds himself. McSendit does not have a penalty yet. All right, your leader is in the pits. He took those Ultra Softs all the way to lap 12. Jumps on the Supers. Arrow stays out with Dahi. Shout out to K-Dog as well, as he is taking his Ultras a pretty good bit. Chappa, though, as a matter of fact, here comes K-Dog into the pits. Odoms has a 2.5-second lead over McSendit, but 6 seconds worth of penalties. Forza has lost a lot of time doing that undercut. Now Forza has the sauce on. Forza is going for the one-stop strategy. Everybody else is going to go 2 stops. That was a great call by Forza, able to take those Ultra Softs as long as he did. He took those Ultras, 12 laps. He needs to take the Softs twice that. It is doable. Now it's going to be up to McSendit, up to Odoms. They are going to have to fly if they're going to want to negate that strategy by Forza. I won't be shocked as well. Dahi and Aerostrike starting on those Super Softs. They've gone pretty far themselves. Are they going for a one-stop strategy? K-Dog, after that pit, he went from 6th to 10th. He is on the softs. He is going for a one-stop strategy as well. So in the top 10, we have that field almost half and half on how they're treating this race, 1 stop versus 2. Odoms, the fastest lap of the race, and he's going to need more of them if he wants to hold this lead. Remember, 6 seconds worth of penalties. Getting a good slipstream down that front stretch as he's catching the back of Aerostrike. Also, Chappa and Ranga, they're looking at one-stop strategies themselves as they try to make sure they secure points in this race. 4 drivers left to pit. And you see our 4 drivers who have not pitted, Dahi, Arrow, Chappa, and Ranga are all +6 right now. All tied for the hard charger as Odoms is all over the back of Arrow. Odoms with the really fresh Ultras. Arrow on worn-out Supers. Odoms has nowhere to go. You cannot really pass in these double S's. And this is costing him dearly. Aerostrike, though, this is a battle for position. Plus, he knows his teammate is going for that one-stop strategy as Odoms pushes Arrow wide. Hard braking entering the baseball stadium. But Arrow would like to slow down Odoms as well to help Forza with that one-stop strategy there. But Odoms flexing some muscle, making sure that he did not get held up by that Ferrari any longer than he needed to. And we saw a bunch of tailspin there from Arrow, able to counter steer it, get it corrected. He has DRS available, but he's not clicking it on. Come on, Arrow. We see McSendit now. He is catching up to the back of the Ferrari. McSendit needs to be careful. He just hopped a curb right there. Not sure how many warnings he got, but he does not want to give away free time that he has right now. Both Forza and Odoms have Forza 3 seconds. Odoms currently at 6. He does not want to give any of that buffer back. Honda, I really appreciate it, my man. That's just being a race fan, brother. I love it. Alright, so McSendit has gotten around Arrow. McSendit trying to... I wouldn't say try to chase down Odoms. Remember, he's got 6 seconds in the bank, and even if he goofs up and gets a 3-second penalty of his own, that would still... he'd still be covering the delta right now. See if Arrow... Is he going to come in? No, he's still going to stay out. So without a doubt, Arrow and Dahi, they're going to have to hop on softs. There's no way they could take the Ultras 20 laps. But if they come around this next time, they could easily take those softs 20 laps and push them pretty decently. Same thing with Chappa and Ranga. They have yet to pit as well. So we've got 4 drivers going for a really long stint on these Supers. We had 2 drivers, and Forza and K-Dog who pitted early but still going for one-stop strategies. So there's our 6 one-stoppers, and everybody else going for a 2-stop strategy right now. So while the field is pretty spread out, though Odoms is catching up to the back of Dahi, this is all going to be jumbled by our next pit cycle. Hopping on the McLaren, entering the baseball stadium. Dahi still, unfortunately, having a little bit of connection issue there. The car just is obviously not driving like that. Is he going to pit? Yes, he is. So, but that still gave Odoms DRS, so that's great. He's going to benefit on this front stretch. Even though he doesn't have slipstream, we're seeing the gauge. 203, 205, 205, and then on the brake for turn 1. Absolutely flying down that front stretch. Arrow elected to stay out another lap. And now it's Forza catching. Oh, a tough break for Renga, who's trying to utilize that one-stopper. He just got 5 seconds for speeding on the pit lane. Forza getting slipstream and DRS off of his teammate. Trying to benefit this lap. I'm sure once he catches him, Arrow will not battle him that hard. Matter of fact, there he goes. He pulls over. Great teamwork by the 2 Ferraris. And here we go. So Odoms has 4.5, as I believe that was KWP there, serving the blue flag, doing the sportsman thing, getting out of the way of the leader. Odoms has 4.5 over McSendit, who has 4.5 over Forza. Our top 2 drivers are going to have to pit again. Forza's going to have to make sure he keeps those softs all the way to the end. Odoms with 6 seconds worth of track cutting penalties, though. That will come into play. See Brian Mosser coming out of the pits. Unfortunately, he had that broken wing on lap 1. Had to do an early pit stop. Brian electing to go with the Ultras. He was on Supers earlier. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised. We saw Brian do this earlier in the season. Didn't have the race he quite wanted to. Ran the fastest tires when his car was at lowest fuel and was able to get his first career fast lap. So we'll keep an eye on Mr. Mosser later on this race, because he will have to go on for a second set of Ultra Softs and see if he can't snag himself another fast lap this season. As we're approaching halfway through this race, let's go ahead and run down the order. So, Odoms started P2. He's your leader. He's got 5 seconds on McSendit. Now, this is actually getting pretty big. 5 seconds. Odoms has 6 seconds worth of penalties, so it's looking good right now for the McLaren driver. Trying to get enough gap over the champion to make sure he doesn't lose a position. Forza qualified 3rd. Finds himself 3rd right now, however, finds himself on a one-stop strategy compared to Odoms and McSendit's 2-stoppers. Arrow sitting in 4th right now, same thing. Though he is still going on those supers. Just absolutely amazing tire wear that we're seeing out of Arrow right now. We got Dahi in 5th. Again, made his one and only pit stop. He is +2 right now. Chapa has yet to pit. He started on the softs. So Chapa is trying to go another handful of laps. Maybe go on super softs at that point. But he's +6 right now. Chapa doing really, really good in his Toro Rosso so far here in the Mexican Grand Prix. We saw J-Rod mixing it up for 4th place earlier in this race. Finds himself in 7th. But again, we have a plethora of tire strategies going on in this race. So we'll see how this all cycles out. Woody's pitted early. He pitted a little too early, this commentator thinks. Even though he's on softs right now, I don't believe this is a one-stop strategy. Woody's would have to pit again. K-Dog definitely is a one-stop strategy. He went really nice. He went 12 laps on those Ultras before hopping on the softs. Ranga, again, working a one-stop strategy, unfortunately without a 5-second penalty for speeding on the pit road that he will have to serve. We got Psycho in 11th. Again, on the one-stopper, trying to close in on Ranga. Got Gordau, our Mexican driver on his home Grand Prix, unfortunately had an early spin, and that stopper's been fighting back ever since. And again, too, with that spin, had a broken wing to go with it on a second occasion. So not the race that he's wanted at home. However, he's still out there trucking along. And he's within a second and a half of Psycho right in front of him. So still trying to get those positions. And we talked about Brian Mosser, unfortunately, had the broken wing on lap 1. Battling back now. He's going, not going with the 3-stop strategy, but being forced with a 3-stop strategy for the most part. And then KWP as well, and then Toro Rosso has unfortunately had a broken wing, has had to make extra pit stops, and he's back in 14th place, with Mebe and Artanis are 2 DNFs. Whew! Now I can breathe. Let's jump back for the battle for 6. Remember, Ciampa is on very old softs. He started the race on those tires. J-Rod has caught him with the supers. We're going through the S's. J-Rod's got to be very careful. He's got a ton more grip than Ciampa right now. Ciampa with a strong run out of that second S, though, negates the Red Bull's attempt. No, he was thinking about a late break, thought better of it. No point in risking breaking a wing right now. They go through the baseball stadium. Whoa, J-Rod, too much curbing there. As soon as he got on the gas, just spun those rear wheels, able to counter steer it. He's still going to be within DRS, though. But that little slide and grab, you see, cost him many car lengths. Ciampa snaking, trying to break the slipstream. You're seeing with the slipstream and the DRS, J-Rod is flying 210, 211. He wasn't able to make an overtake attempt, but as you saw, close that gap big time. Ciampa a little wide out of turn 3. He's going to give J-Rod a run. Again with the DRS. And this time, really not much Ciampa could do as they go into turn 4. And, Ciampa actually went for an over-under there, but J-Rod with a good run out of turn 4 is able to hold P6. Ciampa still +5 on this race right now. Going for the one-stop strategy, but giving himself the fastest tire at the end of the race, so he's trying to hold on to it right now. Lap 21 on these softs. If he can make him go, if he can get about 4 more laps on these softs, I say he could do ultra softs. But if he was to pit now, he could still do supers, no problem, as Woody's is catching up to the back of the Toro Rosso driver. Woody's on a 2-stop strategy. Even though he's on softs right now, he had to pit too early. And there we go. Ciampa is in. Arrow finally came in on those supers. Wow. So Arrow takes the supers 21 laps, and now he's going to attempt to take ultras 15 laps. Arrow's going to drop down to 7th place, but Woody's is going to have to pit again. J-Rod's going to have to pit again. I believe he's a little bit too far back when Odom... And Odoms has pit. I was paying attention to everybody else. Our leader gave up the lead. He is in, and he is 9 seconds behind Forza. With 15 laps to go. So all he's got to do is gain a half-second lap on the Ferrari. That's going to be easy to do on these fresh supers in the early run. We'll have to see how those tires hold up by the end, and here comes McSendon. McSendon's in, and there's a fresh set of supers. So the McLaren and the Mercedes are going to be on the same tire here to end the race. And Odoms easily clears by McSendon before he even gets off pit road. Remember, Odoms has 6 seconds worth of penalties. He's looking good right now to cover McSendon. But realistically, he's looking at having to... I mentioned it earlier, it's 8.5 seconds. Really, at this point, he now needs to cover 10.5 seconds because Forza has 3 seconds himself. So 10.5 seconds over 14 laps. Oh, and McSendon, there it is. The champion gets 3 seconds of his own. So that's going to look even better for Odoms. And that's going to work out for Dahi, too, because Dahi is battling right now. This is a podium battle. So he's got 2 seconds on McSendon, plus that 3-second cushion. I've not seen a penalty for Dahi yet. Dahi's on that one-stop strategy as well, on the soft tires. And as I say that, commentator curse, Dahi gets 3 seconds. So now himself and McSenda are racing heads up. Woody's with 3 seconds. The penalties are starting to fly now. The one we have to keep the eye on the most, though, is up top with Forza and Odoms. Forza has 3 seconds in the bank right now over Odoms. We'll have to keep that in mind as we come into the closing laps of this race. McSenda on those fresh super softs. Dahi still has a lot of life left on those softs. However, they are the slower tire. See on this second DRS zone, closing to the back of the Williams, taking a peek, thinks better of it. Dahi with a little bit of a lockup. Oh, McSenda gets really, really close. No contact. All right, McSenda goes wide. Wow, McSenda went wide. He was trying for a really strong run out of that second apex, but spun those rear tires. Dahi gains a couple car lengths through that first S. McSenda, though, trying to keep it within DRS for the front straight. We got a battle for 5th, blooming as well, as Woody's is catching J-Rod. Remember, Woody's just pit, or excuse me, both drivers do need to pit. Woody's on worn out softs right now. J-Rod, his super softs are starting to fall off. We'll keep an eye on the leaderboard, see if either one of them pit this lap. Here goes McSenda with the DRS, with the swing out, utilize that slipstream, and he's easily going to take 3rd place right now. Huge run on that front stretch. There we go. And Arrow is on the back of the Woody, so now we have a 3-car battle for 5th place. Arrow looking for a late break. Woody's is going to hold spot for right now. Woody's and Arrow with DRS. J-Rod dragging him along. Arrow again trying not to waste time. He is on those Ultras. He does not want to get stuck behind the worn out tires here. And he's able to clear Woody's. So now he's trying to check J-Rod. Jumping back on board with the Ferrari through the second S. Really strong run. He's going to look going into the baseball stadium. As McSenda just went purple. Your Pulsator just set the fastest lap of the race. As that happened, Arrow able to get around J-Rod in the baseball stadium. The Red Bull, all right, the Williams of Woody's is pitted. On board with J-Rod as Arrow is weaving back and forth trying to break that slipstream. J-Rod needs to open up his DRS. He is giving away valuable miles per hour right here by not opening it up. We saw 203 miles an hour. Could have been 210. Driver let that one slip there. And again, no DRS. I don't know if it's a button mapping issue or what's going on with the Red Bull, but Arrow able to break away now. Secure P5. Alright, Woody's, after that pit stop, finds himself behind Chappa, behind K-Dog. Both those drivers utilizing the one-stop strategy. Woody's has the tire advantage over Chappa, but then would have over 8 seconds to try to chase down K-Dog for P7. We go up front. Odoms is starting to chase. There you see it, 1st and 2nd place. Ferrari of Forza. The McLaren of Odoms. 10 laps to go. It's one thing to catch him, it's another thing to pass the champ. And not only that, then he'll need to pull away another 3 seconds over Forza. We're going to go back to 9th place. We're hopping on board the Williams of Woody's as he's bringing the battle to the Toro Rosso of Chappa. Ciampa tried to protect that inside, and Woody's went even more inside. Just a huge run, has that DRS. Ciampa fighting back, though. Ciampa showing some strong straightaway speed himself there. Woody's is going to secure the position, though. Woody's up to P8. He's got 8 seconds now with 10 laps to go to try to chase down K-Dog. Currently, right now, we have a 5-way lead for hard charger of the race. Dahi is up 3. Arrow's up 3. K-Dog is up 3. Ciampa and Ranga are up 3 right now. But with all that, the one driver who is up 2 is where it counts the most. Forza. Now just a second and a half and closing. Odoms sneaking up in that McLaren. As J-Rod is bringing in the Red Bull. We'll keep an eye and see where he comes out on the track. K-Dog is actually going to take P6. J-Rod and Woody were battling there. The Red Bull's off, but Woody's with already a big head of steam. He'll take over P7. Ciampa will grab P8. J-Rod's going to fall to 9th, but he's going to have the tire advantage. We'll see if he's able to race his way back up. Huge lockup there going into turn 1. That had to have been from Woody, so Woody's has got to be very careful not to blister those Ultra Softs. And here we go. There's DRS. We're just going to take a sneak peek, and that is a busted Toro Rosso of KWP. They're on the front stretch. Unfortunate, that's our 3rd retiree of the night. Leader's able to get by unscathed, though. But for the 3-time champion Forza, his lead has disappeared. Odoms with a hard look. He's going to try to go for an over-under. Can Forza get the acceleration? No, he can't. Great run by the McLaren. Can Forza do an over-under back? No, he cannot. Now, how much did Odoms use up those Super Softs to catch Forza? Odoms with a great run through the S's. Forza starting to fall behind a little bit. Now it's a race against the clock. Forza has to keep it within 3 seconds of Odoms. Odoms needs to keep it clean, keep it fast, and not get another penalty. Forza this time, it's his turn with DRS. Help close that gap back up. You see it's 0.8 of a second. Look how quickly it's closing, 0.7. Forza gained 0.2 of a second on that front stretch thanks to the slipstream and DRS. And he'll have DRS again right here coming out of turn 3. Gets it down to just over a half second. Forza has to make sure that he keeps it within DRS. He cannot lose a quarter of a second here going through the S's and through the stadium. He's got to keep it tight, though you saw a little bit of a slip up right there, entering that first part of the S. Both guys strong through the second S. Forza is flirting with it right now. He needs DRS. I don't think he's going to do it. I think Odoms was able to get him there through the baseball section. And he did. No DRS for Forza. That's huge. Odoms now has 6 laps to gain 2 more seconds over Forza and secure his victory. McSendit, with that 3-second penalty of his own, though, is racing Forza heads up for second. McSendit, though, increasing the gap over Nick Dahi, 7 seconds back. Dahi has 12 seconds over a hard-charging Aerostrike. Even though Arrow has the tire advantage, he's running out of laps. Shout out to K-Dog, going +4 right now, though he's under attack. Woody's has closed that gap, and not sure what happened to our onboard camera there, but Woody's got slipstream, he's got DRS. There's Brian Mosser coming out of the pits. Oh, Forza with another 3-second penalty. So that means he is now racing heads up with Odoms, who is flying. And now McSendit has a 3-second buffer. K-Dog protecting that inside line. Able to hold P6 for now. Woody's, though, with that tire advantage. And there's K-Dog with 3 seconds. Woody's with a strong run out of the double apex, but had to hold up a little bit. Not to get into the back of the Renault. You hear Woody's having to hold up a bunch. Not much you can do but follow the car in front of you through the S's. Woody's was thinking about a late break. Thought better of it, though. Because this time he is going to have a really, really strong run down the front stretch with the DRS. So he's trying to set the Renault up. Here he goes. He's already benefiting from slipstream. Now the DRS is open. Here comes the run, and at this point, K-Dog's not even really looking to defend. Though that Renault has some straightaway speed himself. Both guys 200 miles an hour. K-Dog with position going into turn 2, but Woody's with a strong outside run. K-Dog's going to look for the over-under. But because of where they were last time, Woody's does have DRS. But look at the acceleration on that Renault, even on those soft tires. K-Dog is going to come back and secure 6th spot. Great defending for K-Dog. Strong run on those soft tires. Keeping the camera here on this Williams. This is the only battle on the track as they're going through the S's. We see Brian Mosser catching up to him. Brian, we noticed a lap before, 2 laps before, came out of the pits on fresh ultras. He's got these guys in front of him. He's trying to get that slipstream. He's far enough back where they're really not impeding his line. So can Brian try to snag a fast lap of the race? Here we go again. DRS. Woody's just staring down K-Dog. He's going to try on the inside again. Side by side going into 1. Can K-Dog hold that outside like he did last time? He's going to try hard. Oh, no. Oh, no. I thought it was wheel spin, but I'm wondering if Brian Mosser may have had a small part to play in that. And now K-Dog broke his wing on the back of Brian Mosser. Tough situation. And K-Dog only has 4 seconds back to Chapa. And that wing is going to make these last few laps incredibly difficult. So, tough break for the Renault driver. Now Brian backing off, but unfortunately the damage has been done. I know Brian was fast on those tires, but when you're a lapped car and you're seeing guys battle for position, you just do not stick your nose in there. But K-Dog's going to try to hold on to this for the last couple laps, see if he can conserve 7th place, but Chapa is going to catch him quick. We were seeing K-Dog by himself doing 202 miles an hour. Let's see what it looks like with this broken wing. Actually, not too bad on the front stretch. He's still able to get over 200 miles an hour, but it's Sector 2 through those S's where it's really going to hurt the Renault. So we'll keep an eye on the gap. And now let's go up to battle for 3rd. Nick Sendit actually has 3 seconds in the pocket because of penalties for Forza. So technically right now McSendit has 2nd place secured, but as we say every week with these guys, they want to race to the line.
They don't want these spots based on deltas. They want to cross that line over one another. Odom's an incredibly quick driver with several world record laps to his name. Forza, your 3-time champion. McSendit, your 2-time champion who has swept F1 in 2017. The pride that these guys have for racing one another. Every spot counts. They don't want to give an inch to one another, but they always do it respectfully. These guys have the most amazing battles, and why they could rub tires, you never see anything dirty out of them. That's why I love commentating for this league. The craft, the skill, the sportsmanship and respect, it's just top notch. So McSendit has gotten around the Ferrari, and now he's starting to pull away. Now Odoms is giving up 3 seconds to McSendit. This will be very, very interesting. McSendit's going to have 2 laps to see if he can gain 1.8 seconds on Odoms and see if he can steal this win. Odoms needs to make sure that he does not push too hard and cost himself another 3 seconds and hand the win to McSendit by that point. McSendit's got to be kicking himself in the butt now. If he did not have that penalty about 7 laps ago, McSendit might be looking at winning this race based on Delta. Alright, what just worked out in K-Dog's favor is Chapa just got a 3-second penalty as they enter the baseball stadium. As we see. Unfortunately, we're guessing with that Renault, with that broken wing, he just cannot. He can carry his speed on the front stretch, no problem, but the handling is just not there through the S's. McSendit running strong right now. He's gained a half second, but he's going to need to gain a full second on this last lap if he wants to flirt with the win. Odoms, 3 wins to his name this season. But it's been a little bit since we've seen that McLaren on the top step. We have to go back all the way to round 12. It's been 6 races. And even before that, he went 7 races. So Odom's trying to end the season on a strong note. He needs to keep this second gap that he has over McSendit here on the white flag lap. Chapa still attacking K-Dog for 7th place. Matter of fact, J-Rod has joined that battle as well now. It's a 3-car battle for 7th, but we've got to keep an eye on the leader. And there goes Chapa around K-Dog. K-Dog fighting back, though. You see Odoms nice and steady through the S's. Did not want to risk another penalty. McSendit is close. Unless McSendit can magically find a half second. Here comes the confetti. Through the grandstands of the baseball. It's 0.3 of a second to the good. 0.4 of a second. Odoms crosses the line. And he wins. He holds off McSendit by 0.3 of a second due to the penalties. Forza is going to round out your podium. Let's go now. The battle for 7th. Both J-Rod and Chapa have gotten around K-Dog. J-Rod now is bringing the battle to the Toro Rosso. There's a little bit of contact. Chapa's going to go around. Oh, tough break. And then J-Rod, he doesn't have to do that, but I know J-Rod wants to give the spot back. Does not want to take advantage of getting a spot via contact. But he's going to go ahead and park his Red Bull. Tough break for Chapa. Renga is going to get around the Toro Rosso driver. J-Rod, though, guaranteed a point for being... Oh, and it's more issues for Chapa as the AI car of J-Rod is going. So, Dahi's going to be 4th, Arrow 5th, Woody 6th. K-Dog ends up coming in 7th. Now, this time it's Brian Mosser breaking his wing on the back of K-Dog. Renga in an incredibly hard-fought last lap. Survives all the mayhem. He gains 2 spots. He goes up to P8. And then J-Rod, and then unfortunately Chapa, 10 seconds there. I think he may have cut through the baseball stadium, but unfortunate contact between the Red Bull and Toro Rosso, but they're both going to bring home points. J-Rod scored 9th. And there it is, Chapa with 10th. So while it may not have been a race on the track, the race against the clock was nuts there at the end. Odom's able to withstand the early penalties that he got. Did not get any more after the halfway point, and held off McSendit by 0.3 of a second. That's his 4th victory of the season. And for McSendit, your champion, it keeps the record going. He has podium every single race so far this season. Absolutely nuts. And then for Forza, that's going to be his 8th podium of the season. Unfortunately, he had a really strong run with that one stop. Couldn't quite make it happen there. But there you go. Aero Strike, the only driver in the top 10 without a penalty, bringing home 5th. Then outside the top 10, we talked about there with J-Rod and Chapa. Then Psycho, the first driver out of the points. Gordow, Brian Mosser, the last car running. And then our 3 DNFs. KWP, Mebe, and then Artanis. I said it. The field got spread out there. But we had so many different pit strategies going on. I knew it was going to be a wild finish, and that's exactly what we got. Hey, Dylan, thanks for dropping by. Actually, no, I do not get paid to do this. Well, at least not officially. I do accept generosity through the stream, but I do this for my love of the PRL and my love of this league. I used to be a driver. I don't have the time to commit to practicing and everything like I used to, so I'm trying to give these guys some love any way that I can. All right, let's get our podium guys in here. I'm going to start beating McSendit if he keeps staying offline. Oh, thank you very much, Dylan. I very much appreciate that. If you like what you saw tonight, I also do commentary on Tuesday nights for our GT3 League and Project Cars 2. So if you're a race fan, man, definitely by all means come hang out. What's going on, my man?
Hey, what's up, Hoot?
Starting to lose my voice a little bit. You guys made me work for it there at the end.
Oh, man.
You almost made it work.
Yeah. Yeah, almost. I knew my battle was gonna be with McSendit, but I don't know. I used up my tires way too much in the middle of that second stint, and I was just struggling really bad with tire wear, and I don't know. I wasn't gonna go all out crazy. I defended a little bit against him, but at the end of the day, I knew that he was gonna get me. So yeah.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And I was actually I'm proud of myself because when everybody got spread out, I was like, no, wait to the end of the race. All these pit strategies are gonna come full circle, and sure enough, they did.
Yeah.
All right, we're missing one guy, but we got the man of the hour, so let's go ahead and make these interviews official. So, it's been, 6 races. He finally finds himself back to the top step of the podium. But boy, howdy, Odoms, did you make that interesting there at the end. Securing the victory by 0.3 of a second. When you saw McSendit closing that gap there the final 2 laps, were you just more so making sure you didn't get another penalty where there's a tire sliding on you? Take us through those last couple laps.
It was both. I realized after McSendit overtook, before McSendit overtook Mystic, I was realizing that if I get one penalty, I'm gonna lose, and also if he gets within 3 seconds, I'm gonna lose. So I had to actually drive well. I was hoping that after the race, after overtaking Mystic, I could just cruise, but I actually couldn't, and my tires were 76%.
Oh wow!
So, yeah.
Good times. Well, I mean, let's talk about. I mean, you did chase down Mystic, got by him without a full-out, haymaker session. Like I said, Forza definitely wanted to make you guys sweat a little bit, but didn't do anything too drastic. So I guess, thankfully, now that we saw what that final gap was, it didn't take you an extra lap to get around him, because that definitely would have been the difference.
Yeah, like looking back on it, my move on Forza was just sort of like, let me just stick it down the inside. Who cares? It was that sort of move, and then I got a good run, so I just kept on going with it, and I was quite happy that I did the move really quickly. But looking back, actually, that was pivotal that I did that quickly.
Absolutely pivotal. But I mean, also too, at the beginning of the race, you could throw a blanket over the three of you guys. It was like the first 6-7 laps, all within a second, like from first to third. It was absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I really underestimated how bad McSendit's pedals were.
Me too.
He kept talking about them. He was scrambling. He was actually about to race on a pad. He was about to go to his nearest GameStop and just buy a new set of wheels. And just return them the next day.
Well, since you brought it up,
let's
talk to our second place finisher, McSendit. One thing I need to ask is, how the hell did you get pole when I saw your car completely sideways out of that final turn on your qualifying lap?
I have no idea.
Dude, I thought you wiped it out.
I know. I was fully counter steering through that whole corner, and I knew I had 2 purple sectors, and I was like, okay, this is unbelievable, but if I nail the final corner, I got this. And I did not nail it, but
now you sprint card it just enough.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an hour before the race started, I was practicing with Odoms, and my brake pedal spring popped out, I think. So that's no big deal. I unbolt the pedals and start having issues assembling everything again. I've never taken them apart before, and yeah, I'm just cursing, so frustrated with losing tiny screws. The clock is ticking before the race is starting, and I'm okay, I'm just gonna put it back together and then just drive how it is. And my brake pedal felt like a throttle pedal, it had no resistance whatsoever. And I didn't even touch my throttle pedal when I disassembled the thing, but when I put it back together, my throttle pedal was about half as long. I was getting full throttle halfway through. So I had no throttle control and no brake control, but what I did know was what the engine was supposed to sound like at certain points. So I was just thinking okay, as long as it sounds, my line sounds good, then it'll be good. But I never figured out that final corner. 36 laps, and I still was.
Well, there was a couple times I was on board with you during the race, and same thing, man. That ass end was kicking. So great job never biting it on the pit wall.
Yeah, I'm happy with my recovery for sure. There was a moment when I was I'll probably just sit this race out so I don't embarrass myself.
Until you got peer pressure.
Take anyone else out and ruin their race. Yeah, and then of course
I was peer pressuring him out of it. I was just saying, don't race. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I was just trying to peer pressure me out of it.
Well.
So yeah, hectic race for me, but yeah.
I was McSendit isn't gonna be able to qualify well. Let me just start on supers. Maybe I'll get pole. Maybe Forza will get pole. Who cares? He just
not to
swooped it.
Not to put the pressure on you, Odoms, but that's now 9-8 in favor of McSendit. There's 2 races to go, man.
I know. I really threw it away. The whole entire qualifying session, I was just sort of. I think it's because usually before a race, I'm sort of tense, I'm like really focused. I really want to beat McSendit, but he was just scrambling today. He was just all over the place, and it sort of got back to me as well. I was like, he's no big deal, I guess.
Well, I guess
So, yeah.
that's showing that championship caliber for 2017, brother. Like you said, it was hectic, but great run there for second place, my man. And then rounding out the podium, we were talking before everybody got in here, but I guess we could kind of rehash it a little bit. Forza, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping you were breaking that pole streak. You had the pole for like all 12 minutes, and then lost it in overtime.
Yeah, my second lap actually would have been much better. I lost out. I don't know if it would have been pole, but it definitely would have been beating Odom's time for sure. But yeah, just I don't know who. Oh yeah, it was Ranga was ahead of me in the stadium. Like all of basically sector 3, and it just kind of really slowed me up big time. And I was like, oh my God, please get out of the way, But it didn't happen, and yeah, so proved my time, but it wasn't by a lot. But even then, starting on pole year doesn't always work out the best. So yeah, so yeah.
Good times. And then we mentioned your race. I mean, you said it. You went with the one stop. It was looking good, but then you burned up those softs a little bit early. What were your percentages there at the end for those softs? Were you at risk of a puncture at all, or?
Man, it was like 7. Yeah, it was like 7. My left rear was at like 78%, 79.
See, this is
Something
why
like
what I
that.
want out of
Yeah,
2018.
it was
I want
pretty
guys risking punctures at the end. We need to have, and the broadcaster to be able to see that would be nice.
I've seen both strats work, the one stop and the two stop here. I don't know, I wasn't really feeling too well. Like with the two stop, your pace has to be really on point around here, and I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it. This track, like I do decent at this track, but it's never really been like a track that I truly enjoy driving. I don't know. So yeah, it was fun at the start. Once Odom started catching me up again, or started catching me, like I wasn't. He like over tried way too hard to get past me because I wasn't even gonna make it that hard. I honestly wanted to just let him get past me and then just kind of like try to follow him, get DRS off of him for a little bit, stay in his toe. Because I knew my main battle was going to try to hold off McSendit. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because I burned up my tires too much in the middle of that second stint. But yeah, I mean, I defended a little bit against McSendit, but nothing too crazy. I'm happy with the podium though, for sure.
Well, in the beginning of the race and at the end of the race, I mean, hats off to you guys. There were some great battles. There was a lot of fun action, and
McSendit should break his pedals every week.
Yeah, let's break his wheel next time.
I guess so.
But since you mentioned one stop versus two stop, let's talk about it. Last season, we saw an insane Brazil race. Any of you guys want to tip your hands real quick? What are we going to see next week, huh? Who's going for the two stopper?
It's gonna be more of this. All conflicting strategies. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
I would be happy to lose my voice to that.
I think I'm sponsoring that one, aren't I?
Oh shit!
I believe I'm sponsoring that one.
He's calling his shot.
Good times.
So
He's even got $3 on it.
I expect a courtesy if I'm ever behind any of you guys to just realize, okay, Odom's is sponsoring this.
You'll get a courtesy shout out at the beginning of the stream. I think that's about what you're gonna get.
He's taking out out of his yearly allowance.
And yeah, too, Odom, I got to give you props here in front of all of Twitch. Thank you so much for hitting the sub, man, at the beginning of the stream. You didn't have to do that, brother, but I really appreciate it.
No worries. No worries. After I got a bit of cash, I wanted to,
Yo, let's get some sub-hype in the chat, guys. Come on now.
Or is that your way of bribing me, too, to try to commentate for the European League, since you're double dipping?
I race in a lot of leagues, and I always appreciate when a league makes people feel welcome. So, no
Well,
worries.
good times. We like to make you feel welcome and pick on you at the same time. So I'm glad you appreciate that.
Of course.
And then I finally get to call you Marquez next season. It'll be great.
It's just Marquez.
How dare you? Don't tell me how to do my job.
It's not hard.
But all right, gentlemen.
There's like 2 S's.
I was about to say, let's go ahead and we'll end the official part of this stream. Again, your winner, Odoms, an amazing run. McSendit made it feisty at the end. Forza with a great run itself. Gentlemen, congratulations.